The girl sneaks her sister's diamond ring while she's asleep, but to her surprise, her hand swells up and the ring won't come off. The firefighter gets closer to check. It's an allergic reaction. "Ma'am, this ring finger, can you feel it?" "No." The firefighter realizes the only option is to cut the ring off. Otherwise, the girl's finger might have to be amputated, but the little sister refuses. "Wait, I sold it. The buyer has already paid me a lot." The two sisters immediately start arguing. The doctor steps in to mediate. After 666 minutes, the ring is finally cut off. Looking at the split ring, the doctor doesn't forget to say, "Remember, sharing is caring." The alarm at the woman's house kept going off. The neighbors couldn't take it anymore and called the police. A female cop saw the woman turn off the alarm and was about to leave, but the alarm rang again. Her years of police work told her something was off. She quickly checked the alarm info. The trigger was in the downstairs bedroom. The cop got cautious and went to check. In the bedroom, she found a freezer. She opened it fast, then let out a sigh of relief. There was no body inside. She looked around the room again and found the reason for the alarm. It was a loose trigger. She fixed it right away, but the next second it got pulled down again. There was even knocking from inside the wall. "So tell me, where is your husband?" Turns out the woman and her husband were getting divorced. The husband didn't want to lose anything, so he started taking all the stuff he bought. That drove the woman crazy in a burst of anger. She wanted to silence him and sealed him inside the wall, but no one thought the man was still alive. He had been pulling the alarm wires the whole time, and someone actually found out now. Is he lucky or unlucky? What do you think? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. "Lexi, what's going on? Somebody cut me open." The girl woke up to find her kidney was gone. Due to severe blood loss when the firefighters arrived, the girl was already unconscious. They quickly began emergency treatment and rushed her to the hospital in tears. The girl told the dispatcher she had met a man from a dating app in real life, only to have her kidney stolen. But instead of helping her, the police suspected her of organ trafficking just because she was a black woman. As a fellow black woman, Dispatcher Grace decided to help her catch the culprit. She created her own profile on the app and lured the man in. He took the bait and asked her to meet at a bar. There, he tried to drug her drink, but Grace was one step ahead. She switched the glasses. The man ended up drinking his own spiked cocktail and passed out on the spot. Straight to jail he went. Smart move, Dispatcher Grace. The first thing the woman did after being hit and flipped over was tell the firefighter, "I need the report to say we're just co-workers. We were coming from a lunch, but that jackass hit us." The firefighter was a bit confused. Turned out a serious accident had just happened in front of a motel. The man was killed on the spot, and the woman's car had flipped over from the impact. Firefighters quickly began the rescue. They placed a neck brace on her, smashed the windows, and peeled open the roof. The woman was successfully pulled out, and even as she was leaving, she made sure to remind them again. "You call my husband and tell me about me by myself." Absolutely insane. The woman nearly drowned right on the street just moments ago. Her husband crashed straight into a fire hydrant. A massive jet of water shot up and flooded the entire car. The woman, unconscious, was completely submerged. Firefighters rushed in with a hammer to smash the rear window, letting the water pour out, while another team member raced to shut off the main valve. The woman was finally pulled out, but her mouth was so badly injured that normal intubation was impossible. Paramedics had to use scissors and a syringe to perform an emergency puncture, opening a direct airway to help her breathe. The worker was getting ready to trim the trees, but in just one blink, the work truck was stolen. And the woman who stole it was laughing out loud. Just now, a gardening crew came to cut the trees, so the branches wouldn't hit the power lines. But the woman didn't want that. She yelled at them, calling them tree killers. She said it wasn't eco-friendly at all. Even when the workers explained it was for safety, she still wouldn't listen. The gardeners didn't want to argue. He picked up the chainsaw and got ready to work, but no one noticed the evil smile on the woman's face. The next second, the truck was gone. The woman drove off with the gardener still on the truck. The worker freaked out and called for help, but right after saying the address, he saw a power line up ahead. Maybe more than one. When the fire team got there, the woman was hiding inside the truck because of the static from the truck. Her hair was sticking straight up. The captain told her not to move. He had the team put out the fire first. Then they called the power company to cut the power. Meanwhile, the gardener who jumped from the truck landed on some boxes, so he didn't get hurt too bad. As for the woman, she finally saw the police she had been waiting for, came for the tree murder. But what she didn't expect was that the police were there to arrest her. Have you ever been in a hot air balloon? I mean, have you ever been in one all by yourself? This 10-year-old girl is flying one on her own because right after her mom got out, the balloon floated away by itself. Just a moment ago, a mom brought her daughter to ride a hot air balloon, but not long after takeoff, a strong wind blew in from the west. The pilot said it was too dangerous to keep flying, so they stopped and went down fast, fighting the wild wind. They finally got the basket to stop. The mom and pilot planned to get out first, but once they stepped off, the balloon got lighter and shot back up into the sky. The pilot even hit a rock and passed out. The mom was so scared, she quickly called for help. "He's flying away." "Did you say flying?" The firefighters arrived quickly. The staff told them there was a radio inside the basket. They could talk to the girl with it. The girl heard voices above her. She grabbed the radio right away. With help from the coach on the ground, she started learning how to land the balloon, but she let out too much air. Now the balloon was falling too fast. The firefighters raced ahead with the captain leading. They managed to catch up to the balloon. They jumped out of the truck, grabbed the safety ropes. Buck ran, then leapt into the basket. The others held on tight, using their weight to stop it from lifting off again. Working together, they slowly brought the balloon down. Would you dare ride a hot air balloon? An elderly woman walked into the fire station, saying she had something to hand over. They were live grenades. They were her late husband's belongings, but she had thought they were just props and had even sold a few of them. One ended up being bought by a young boy. The fire department immediately sprang into action. "Incoming, Kyle. Freeze, freeze. The grenade is real, Kyle, but it won't go off unless you release the handle." When the boy heard it was a real grenade, he panicked and threw it straight at a firefighter. "Run! Run! Get down!" Thankfully, no one was hurt. A $1 billion cruise ship is capsized by a wave flipped upside down. The whole family is desperately running for their lives. The boy, who's obsessed with gaming, completely doesn't hear anything by the time he reacts. When the captain finds the boy, he's trembling in fear. The captain wants to take him, but the boy says he's not going with a stranger. Quick thinking, the captain immediately throws out the olive branch of friendship. "Corey, I'm Bobby. Now we're not strangers anymore." The kid is easily convinced and follows him as the water rises higher and higher. The captain starts helping him climb bit by bit. Then they run into a door. The captain pushes with all his might, but can't open it just as the water is about to overflow. Brothers prove to be reliable. The girl sneaks her sister's diamond ring while she's asleep, but to her surprise, her hand swells up and the ring won't come off. The firefighter gets closer to check. It's an allergic reaction. "Ma'am, this ring finger, can you feel it?" "No." The firefighter realizes the only option is to cut the ring off. Otherwise, the girl's finger might have to be amputated, but the little sister refuses. "Wait, I sold it. The buyer has already paid me a lot." The two sisters immediately start arguing. The doctor steps in to mediate. After 666 minutes, the ring is finally cut off. Looking at the split ring, the doctor doesn't forget to say, "Remember, sharing is caring." Two girls were attacked by a wild dog. They scrambled to seek refuge atop a nearby car roof, crying out for help in desperation. Fortunately, firefighters arrived swiftly. One of them suggested dealing with the dog decisively, but the captain noticed something unusual. The dog's fur wasn't bristling, its ears were drooping. It nervously circled in place, approaching the dog with an outstretched hand and a friendly tone. The captain was surprised when the dog willingly trotted over. Meanwhile, the other firefighters quickly rescued the two girls. Suddenly, the dog dashed off in a particular direction. The captain instinctively followed. To their amazement, the dog led them to a nearby field where a man lay trapped beneath a harvesting machine. His legs mangled and his life hanging by a thread. The firefighter skillfully maneuvered the machine, lifting the gears and freeing the man from his perilous predicament. Throughout the rescue, the loyal dog never once averted its gaze, attentively watching over its owner's fate. As soon as the man was safely rescued, he called out the dog's name. The dog rushed to his side, gently licking away the blood on his face, overwhelmed by gratitude and emotion. The man couldn't help but burst into tears. The dog truly exemplified the title of humankind's most cherished and loyal friend. An asteroid is about to strike Earth. The old man rushed into the underground bunker. He had finished building 800 years too early, but unexpectedly, he had a heart attack and passed out. Firefighters tried to cut open the bunker, but the materials he used were way too tough. They had no choice but to find another way in. After a series of who-knows-what operations, they blasted a hole on the side of the bunker, got inside, and rescued the old man. A defibrillator shock brought him back to life, but the bunker was already destroyed. Wait! I was in my bunker! How'd you get in my bunker? Oh, yeah. About that, man. I'm sorry. No. What have you done? Well, we saved your life, until the meteor hits. Now what am I going to do? The professor was just about to head to the cafeteria for dinner when he suddenly got a text message. That's right. Look. It scared him so much, he immediately sprinted back to the classroom building. He had to shut down the nuclear reactor inside before the asteroid hit Earth. Otherwise, the entire state of Texas would be uninhabitable for the next 500 years. Thankfully, the old man worked out regularly and was still quick on his feet. He made it back to the building in under 50 minutes, but just his luck, he slipped and fell. When the firefighters arrived, he had a severe brain bleed and was barely hanging on. The medical team had no choice but to perform an emergency cranial surgery on site. At last, the professor regained consciousness and revealed where the reactor shut-off switch was. Second utility closet control. In the control room behind the east wall. The captain rushed off. He reached the switch just in time, slammed it, and collapsed. The dude fell into the elevator shaft and was about to be crushed like a cracker. A firefighter swiftly slid in, startling his companions outside. They quickly told someone to grab tools and shut off the power switch. The elevator was still descending. The firefighter grabbed the metal rod and jammed it into the gears, trying to stop the elevator. The teammates outside also propped the elevator doors open with 2 bamboo sticks temporarily. After 666 minutes, the teammate finally found the power switch and turned it off. But the elevator didn't stop. Is that stopping? The quick-thinking captain brought over a trash can to hold the door, but it got crushed shortly after, just as the 2 inside thought they were about to be crushed by the elevator. Finally, the teammate showed up with proper tools. You okay down there, Casey? A little cramped, actually. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. The boy got stuck on a rising gate and couldn't move, but he still shouted to his friend to keep filming. This is great content, all just to make it onto TikTok's FYP. The firefighters were speechless, half laughing, half crying. They quickly brought over a ladder to rescue him. One firefighter used a power saw to cut through the gate bars and finally pulled the boy's hand free. But just then, the gate rolled up again. His hoodie was still stuck inside. Hey, I thought you killed the power of this thing. I did too. Something went wrong with the machinery. The firefighter had no choice but to keep cutting through the boy's clothes with a knife. After 666 long minutes, the boy was scared out of his mind. But his friend just said, "That was wicked. Isabel got all of it. You're going to trend for sure. Hell yeah." The chef just wanted to bake a cake, but it almost turned into a cake for his funeral. He was shaking the whipped cream really hard, and boom. The pressure was too much. A metal pipe shot out and stabbed him right in the chest. The cake wasn't even done, but the chef dropped to the floor when firefighters got there. He was already knocked out, so they rushed him to the hospital. Even though the ambulance drove super fast, it would still take 10 minutes to get there, and the chef was bleeding a lot. He clearly wouldn't make it that long. The medic said she had to open his chest. Another team member said, "No, they weren't surgeons. They weren't allowed to do that." And if he died in the ambulance, they'd be in big trouble. But then the chef's blood pressure crashed. His heart started shaking instead of beating. That's when the firefighter made the call and cut open his chest. She reached inside, found the bleeding artery, and pinched it shut. His blood pressure came back to normal. But when they got to the hospital, the doctor scolded her for breaking the rules. He even told her to let go of the artery. "No, I got it. I let go for half a second. He codes before we make the ER. I'm on this train to the end. Now, which way? Go." The nurse quickly put a gown on her. Then the surgeon grabbed the artery with clamps, and finally she could let go. "You can let go now, doctor." Thanks to her quick thinking, the chef lived. So what if she broke the rules? She saved a life for dogs peed on each other, officially forming the Revenge Dog Alliance. They planned to get back at the humans who abandoned them. The puppy carried the ball back home. The man got very angry when he saw it. He grabbed a stick and swung it at the puppy. Suddenly, the boss dog burst through the door. The boss dog shook off Elizabeth's collar and lunged at the man. Another dog bit the man's ankle. The man lost his temper, swinging the stick wildly, just breaking the water pipe. He grabbed the puppy, trying to threaten other dogs, but they weren't scared. They lined up. Then the last puppy did a triple jump. The boss dog held the man's shoulder. The other two dogs pulled apart his legs. Finally, the puppy charged at his balls. Have you ever tried a self-driving car? A man had just gotten in his car and started showing off to his wife. "I don't even need to hold the wheel. I can put my feet wherever I want. I could even dance in here." But halfway through his little dance, his arms suddenly went numb. He started having trouble breathing, and his chest hurt bad, looked like a heart attack. His wife told him to pull over, but he chose to trust the self-driving car. He set the navigation to the nearest hospital, and the car automatically left the highway. His wife quickly called 911. "I think my husband's having a heart attack. He's been on his way to the hospital, but I think he's passed out. Are you in the car with him?" "No, I'm at home." "Then who's driving the car?" The rescue team arrived at the hospital fast, pulled the man out of the car, and handed him over to the doctors. But the rescue wasn't over. They rushed to move the car door. And when the captain looked closer, a doctor was trapped at the front of the car. "You hanging in there, Doc?" "Just a couple fractured ribs, maybe multiple places." Firefighters quickly pushed the car away and lifted the doctor onto a stretcher. And when they turned around, the medical staff was already standing by. Guess you could say this was the fastest ER delivery ever. An 8-year-old boy got buried alive in a pile of sand. The firefighter ripped off his jacket and sprinted straight up the sand mound. He stopped the boy's dad, who was frantically digging with a shovel. Sharp tools could hurt him. They started scooping like mad. After 666 seconds later, a tiny hand finally poked out of the sand. Got him. The firefighter's eyes lit up. He dug even faster, throwing sand like a man possessed. The paramedic rushed over with an oxygen mask, but the boy couldn't use it yet. There was still too much sand pressing on his chest. He couldn't breathe until they cleared it all away. It had already been 7 long minutes since he went under. Everyone held their breath. No one knew if he'd make it. Time stretched painfully slow. Every second felt like an hour and then a gasp. The boy suddenly took a deep, ragged breath, snatching his life back from the jaws of death. The crowd broke into tears and cheers. Once again, the heroes in red turned tragedy into a miracle. Danger really is everywhere, but thank goodness for firefighters who never ever give up. The medic rolled up the man's pant leg. His whole leg started shaking as he screamed in pain. One look at the wound, and she knew this could be sepsis. She told her assistant, "Get the injection ready." But the man freaked out. "Get off of me. Connor, you've got a really bad wound. We just want to help." "Okay, I promise this will make you feel better." "Okay." The medic sighed and called over the guy's boyfriend, who had been standing there frozen. He looked disgusted and hesitant, clearly not built for medical emergencies. Still, for the sake of saving his man, he reluctantly shuffled forward, only to be completely useless. The medic finally gave up and had them lift the patient onto a stretcher. That's when the boyfriend finally managed to be somewhat helpful, holding things steady while the medic wrapped the wound tight. The man was rushed to the hospital, stabilized just in time. Do you know how exactly did he end up with a wound like that on his thigh? The firefighter climbed up the chimney to check what was blocking the flue. "Talk to me, Severite. We're going to need to call this one in." He zoomed in with the camera and froze. It was a body. To get a better view, they cut a hole in the side of the chimney. Oh, good Lord, it's a child. The chimney walls were spotless, which meant the child had probably been stuck there for quite some time and only fell deeper down after the body started decomposing. The firefighter carefully lifted the small skeleton out. Seeing how tiny it was, hit everyone hard. No one spoke. Just then, the homicide unit showed up, and instead of thanking the firefighters, they started scolding them. Who authorized the extraction? Body was falling apart. You just compromised my crime scene. That was the last straw for the firefighter. Frustrated and heartbroken, he refused to hand the body over. Instead, he gently placed the remains himself onto the body bag, giving the child the respect the world had denied them. The warehouse manager was pined hard against a steel beam. He was gasping for air, mouth wide open, seconds away from suffocating. He didn't have that kind of time. The fire captain ripped off his jacket and started climbing the lift barehanded. The deputy captain followed right behind, ready to assist at any moment. While they were both climbing with everything they had, a warehouse worker suddenly rushed over and started fiddling with the control box. The firefighters yelled and waved for him to back off. Messing with the wiring could make things even worse. Just then, the captain's foot slipped. He dangled midair for a terrifying second. Everyone watching below felt their stomachs drop, but the captain kept his cool, quickly found footing again, grabbed a railing, and pulled himself back up. The deputy followed close behind, and together they reached the trapped man. He was wedged in tight. There was no way to free him without cutting through the bars. The deputy lowered a rope and hauled up an angle grinder. Sparks flew as the captain sliced through several steel bars. And finally, the man was freed. Heat. Heat. N. To go viral on TikTok. The girl stuffed the harmonica in her mouth, but she didn't realize it was just like a light bulb. Easy to put in, hard to get out. When the firefighter asked her, she could only blow the harmonica in response. Even more ridiculous, her friend was translating for her. "H, how are you feeling?" She says it hurts like hell. "It's okay. We're going to pack you up and take you to the hospital." She wants to know if there's anything you can do here. "We don't have insurance. We can't afford an ambulance or a hospital stay." The firefighters immediately brought over some lubricant and pliers, preparing to forcibly remove the harmonica. Meanwhile, the girl's friend whipped out her phone to start a live stream. Even with just 8 viewers, but the captain didn't stop her. It was a good lesson for the girl's fans not to put random things in their mouths. After some effort, she successfully removed the harmonica, but the girl's face would still need some time to recover. A sudden 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit New York. The man was buried by the mud flow and had already stopped breathing. The firefighters had no choice but to mark the spot and move forward. "Do you hear that? Sounds like a baby." Following the sound of crying, they found a house that was half buried by the mudslide. They had no choice but to go down through the chimney. Chimney was startled to see a woman lying on the ground. Then he spotted a baby on the bed. Fortunately, the baby was unharmed. Just as Chimney was sharing this good news with Bach, they heard a voice calling, "Copy." After breaking open a door, he found a frantic woman asking for her child. "My baby. Where is he? What did she do to him?" "Okay, calm down. Your baby. She took him. She told me he wasn't mine anymore." "Who took him?" "Carol. She tricked us into giving up our baby. She took him from me." It turned out that the woman outside was a human trafficker who specialized in deceiving single pregnant women to have their babies for her. The whole house was filled with pregnant women who had fallen victim to her scheme. Poor Eddie almost got turned into a lady. "It's not me." Then the man choked Buck by the neck. Just moments ago, the man suddenly smashed the microphone against his head. Then he kept slapping himself in public. The medic suspected something was wrong with his brain. Seeing the man nearly suffocate himself, Buck and Eddie rushed to help. Despite his small frame, the man was surprisingly strong. Turns out, he had undergone heart surgery a month ago and was likely having a stroke. He needed immediate hospital treatment. Suddenly, the man grabbed Buck by the throat as the captain managed to save Buck. Eddie almost lost his balls while he had not yet recovered. Buck was grabbed by the throat again. Chu quickly administered a sedative. Although the crisis was resolved, Eddie and Buck's condition was not good, especially Eddie. "Help me! My boy can't breathe." "What happened?" The boy made choking sounds constantly, but the firefighter found nothing in his airway. "Hit him on the back. I gave him everything and nothing's working." Suddenly, the firefighter discovered a foreign object in his nose. He pressed the boy's left nostrils and instructed his mother to blow into his mouth. The mom, undeterred by the fact that he had just vomited, performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation without hesitation. Once, twice, a metal piece flew out. The boy started breathing again. The mother held her son with relief. That move is called the mother's kiss. The nearby firefighter picked up the metal piece and realized it was a battery. The boy was very lucky. If the battery had gone down his throat, it could have been fatal. "My nose hurts." "Then don't put things up there." The man was found lying stiff on the ground with a tube sticking out of his neck. "How long has he been like this?" "I don't know. Half hour, maybe more." "Why would someone crack him and then leave without giving him any air?" Turns out he passed out from a severe allergy. A paramedic came, cut open his throat to save him, but halfway through he just vanished. Unbelievable. The firefighters had no choice. They cut another hole. "Okay, hand me a size 6. Shoved in a tube, and after 666 minutes, the man finally woke up. Thought he was rushed to the hospital and barely survived. But the biggest mystery is, where did that paramedic disappear to? Yeah, that's a frog. All right. What happened? Just seconds ago, the sky turned an eerie green, and then it started raining frogs. Thousands of them falling from the sky, sending the amusement park into pure chaos. People screamed and ran for their lives. But while this man was on the phone with the police, he glanced up, and one frog flew straight into his mouth and got stuck deep in his throat. When firefighters rushed to the scene, the ground was already crawling with frogs. A terrified girl began them to help. The firefighter tried to pull it out, but the slippery skin pushed it even deeper. The man was choking, turning horse seconds from suffocating. That's when the medic made a bold move. The Heimlich maneuver. 1, 2, 3 thrusts, and finally, the frog shot out of his throat. The man was saved. All thanks to a split-second rescue. The man just wanted to propose, but almost sent his girlfriend to the grave. I slipped the ring into a champagne glass. She was supposed to take a sip. The man panicked with guilt, but firefighters pushed him aside. They had to act fast. Using a luringoscope, they managed to locate the ring in her trachea, but it was so smooth and slippery that it was nearly impossible to pull out. Everyone held their breath in suspense. After 666 minutes, the firefighter finally managed to clamp it out. As the girlfriend regained her breath, her family could finally let out a sigh of relief. The firefighter was rescuing the drive when a truck collapsed on top of him, pinning him down. Another team rushed in and surrounded him, trying desperately to pull him up. "He's not moving. The muscle guy joke told you to lay off the donuts." The trapped man gave a helpless smile. Seriously, joking at a time like this. But then that's when the reliable female firefighter brought in chains to secure the truck. Airbags 1 and 2 were ready. At last, the man was freed, and the driver was rescued too. One look, and the medic knew this girl was about to die. Fluid leaked from her ears. Her body was paralyzed, and the diagnosis was terrifying. Internal decapitation. "All right, Lori, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to squeeze my hand as hard as you can." "Okay." Her first cervical vertebrae was completely broken. Even the slightest movement could end her life instantly. The 2 paramedics treated the case like a ticking time bomb. This was going to be a tough rescue. Their supervisor quickly tried to calm the girl, explaining the situation while urging her to stay as still as possible. They brought out a scoop stretcher and simply slide it beneath her and lock it in place. Securing her body wasn't the hard part. Handling the head required extreme precision. The lead medic counted down from 3, then raised her head just 1 centimeter. The stretcher slid into place without incident. Next, they placed 2 head blocks on either side of her skull and taped them firmly down. What looked like a simple maneuver left the rescuers drenched in sweat, terrified that the slightest slip might dislodge her head. Thankfully, everything went smoothly. The most dangerous part was over. Now, with spider straps securing her entire body, the girl could finally be transported safely to the hospital. A car accident happened when the firefighter opened the door. Firefighters comforted her, cut her seatbelt, and had medics check her over. At the time, the parents stumbled out from the back seat. The father was dead drunk, his breath nearly knocking the firefighter out cold. The mother was swaying on her feet, too. Clearly, she had been drinking as well. When the girl saw her parents being taken away in cuffs, "Are they?" Medics rushed forward. They spotted deep marks on her chest, possibly a pulmonary contusion from the seatbelt. Listening with a stethoscope, they suspected the steering wheel impact too, and feared a rye might have punctured her lung. The only option was to rush her to the hospital. Watching all this unfold, the firefighters were left speechless while the unfit mother was still shouting nonsense. A car crash just happened. The man was thrown straight out of the car. But worse, his little boy was still trapped inside. Firefighters rushed in, put out the flames, and found the boy, but a steel pipe had pierced his thigh. If they cut it now, he could bleed out. So, they rushed him to the hospital seat and all. The father, badly hurt, was still worrying about his son. He too was carried away on a stretcher. Then his wife arrived, and shockingly, she wanted him arrested. They were divorcing, fighting over custody. She thought he caused the crash on purpose, but the man insisted. He swerved to avoid a strange creature. Firefighters went back to check the scene, and there it was, a deer's body on the road. The truth cleared his name. The girl's face turned blue. Horrifying blood streamed from her eyes. She had already lost consciousness. Her father stood by, frantic with worry. "Come on!" Just moments ago, the man rushed into the fire station carrying the girl, begging for help. The medic discovered she was choking on something. She must have tried to cough it out, which caused the blood vessels in her eyes to burst. The firefighter quickly grabbed a pair of forceps, pressing on her chest while pulling out the hot dog. The girl coughed violently, but thankfully regained consciousness and was sent to the hospital. Even though his teammates rushed over, the man still broke his bones from the fall and couldn't walk anymore. When he was taken to the hospital, he didn't remember a single thing that had just happened. Even after the doctor explained everything, he still had no memory of it at all. What's even stranger is right after hearing the doctor, he asked again what happened to his foot, as if nothing had been said. But when the doctor saw the man's leftover sandwich, everything made sense. Turns out, as a rock climbing fan, the man hardly ate any veggies to keep his weight down. This made his body low on vitamins, which caused the memory loss. The hospital gave him a vitamin shot right away, and sure enough, his symptoms got better. Do you like eating vegetables? Even if you don't, make sure you eat them. The dude becomes bald because of his friend. The man filled my shampoo with hair remover. He decided to use the world's hottest pepper to get back at him. When the delicious tacos were served, the friend suddenly pointed. "Who is that?" When the dude turned his head, the friend quickly swapped their plates. The dude thought he was interested in the girl, and even joked he'd go ask for her number for him. After seeing his friend eat the tacos, the dude also took a bite and then asked him the taste. "How is it?" "A little bland, to be honest." "Real question is, how's yours?" That's when the man felt his throat burning like it was on fire. He started chugging water bottle after bottle. 30 years you haven't grabbed me a soda from the fridge. Now you make me tacos." The friend who had been gloating realized something was wrong and immediately began performing the Heimlich maneuver. When the firefighters arrived, the dude was already unconscious, coughing up blood. They had no choice but to drain the fluid on site. Lai regained consciousness. His friend let out a sigh of relief. The firefighter was high above on the drawbridge and was about to fall. His teammate wanted the operator to lower the bridge, but the operator refused, saying, "It broke the rules. What would you do if it were you?" Just a moment ago, the firefighter got a call. A man and his motorcycle were stuck at the top of the drawbridge. The firefighter decided to use the side rails for the rescue. He grabbed onto the rails and started climbing toward the top of the bridge, but the man couldn't hold on much longer. The firefighter sped up and finally reached the top. First, he secured the heavy object, then got to the man. But right then, the motorcycle almost fell. For the sake of his teammate's life, the firefighter ignored the operator's orders. He kicked the door open and lowered the bridge successfully. Is following the rules more important than saving lives to the operator?